IoT Unplugged. Tune in to the Internet of Things. As AI's use and interest from business is growing due to the need to optimize operations, the next question may be, what can next be optimized? What if the answer to that is also AI? AI optimization stands to be a new era of machine learning efficiency. This sophisticated approach, which fine-tunes algorithms and models, is essential for harnessing the full power of AI. It's not just about coding smarter, it's about developing machine learning processes that are more effective, sustainable, and cost-efficient. So what impact could this have on industries, and who stands to be the first adopters? To discuss the nuts and bolts of this, I'm joined by Dr Leslie Kanthan, CEO of Turin Tech. Dr Kanthan, thanks for joining us today. If you could just start by introducing yourself and what Turin Tech does.
Hi, sure. So I'm Leslie and I'm from Turin Tech. I'm the CEO of Turin Tech. Turin Tech is a generative AI company that focuses on code optimization. So what we mean by that is effectively identifying code that is slow and ensuring that it's faster and using up less resources such as memory, CPU, and thereby being less on the energy, so reducing your energy consumption and very ESG friendly. That's us in a nutshell.
Okay, excellent. Well, talking about AI optimization, we'll just get stuck in. So what can you tell us about the concept of AI optimization and why could it become more crucial with this growth of AI that we're seeing?
Yeah, sure. So basically, we've seen the advent of automation and AI in the general marketplace at the moment. For instance, you see what you're looking at now with products such as ChatGPT, which I'm sure that you're very familiar with. And what you're not seeing though is the huge amount of resources that's consuming, the models, how large they are, how much the compute cost is, your cloud costs, and so forth. So now if we come into what we mean by AI optimization, it's effectively that. So we're optimizing your source code using AI methods and doing this in an automatic fashion so that user intervention is basically at a minimal to get the desired results of efficiency. So in terms of AI optimization, we're talking about looking at either source code or looking at models and identifying the inefficient components and elements of that, and then generating new code using AI. And then that code, after several iterations of evolution, through using the same AI methodology, would have been more improved than the original code that you were looking at. So previously, optimization techniques were manual process. So when you look at optimizing a library, for example, there's a lot of very top talented developers out there who are looking at code and they say, okay, this code could be made more efficient if we look at replacing this sorting function with this better function, or changing other elements of the code. But imagine now that they're doing this and hundreds of developers working on this, but the issue is your library is massive, millions of lines of code. It could take years for several developers to work and fine tune and hone that. So that process of manually optimizing has now been efficiently improved by using AI optimization. That's what we mean by AI optimization.
Okay, thank you. What are the different ways or methods that can be used to implement AI optimization?
So there's deep learning, there's the use of transformers, there's the use of genetic algorithms, there's hybrids. We've got our own proprietary techniques, of course, that is new, but also based on what we have seen in nature. So there's various different techniques for doing this.
Okay, great. Well, to the next one. What are some challenges businesses face with AI, and how does AI optimization address that? You mentioned environmental credentials as well, like lowering energy, but maybe if you could walk us through that.
Yeah, sure. So look, you have a business impact straight away because right now you have huge data science teams in a lot of big corporations, and everything is now about compute power. And consequently compute cost. The cost here is because if it takes you $100,000, for example, of cloud cost and compute cost to just get your base simple first model, what about for 10 models? What about for 100 models, right? So the amount of energy consumption in this process is significant because you're thinking about all those cloud servers, you're thinking about the compute servers, NVIDIA's latest and greatest GPU hardware, AMD coming with their own, you've got server racks full of these own solutions. So it's very, very costly. And then are these being actually, is the hardware being used very efficiently to its maximum capability? Secondly, you also have this question of about what if I don't have the access to the latest hardware? What can I get from my existing hardware? Am I utilizing and using that to the maximum? So these are all pain points for businesses because in the latter issue, maybe you're a big bank and it costs you, $100 million plus to upgrade all your hardware to the most latest hardware. So maybe that's not an option for you. And similarly, maybe you want to get the best out of your hardware, the maximum you can for your code, but you don't know how to. So this is one of those areas that optimization, AI optimization helps because if you can optimize the hardware for the code that you're running, or sorry, rather, conversely, optimize the code for the hardware that you're running, then that is definitely a big impact because you'll have legacy software that's been running in financial institutions and they're utilizing a lot of their own on-prem server, or if they've been moved to the cloud and migrated to the cloud, they could be costly in that sense. So you want to be able to make an impact in reducing the consumption of that and maximally achieving what you can. So if it costed you probably, for example, $10 million annually to run all that code that you had through your data center servers, both either on-prem or on cloud, maybe it costs you $7 million now. So you get a 30% reduction. That's a big impact. And then similarly as well, in terms of optimization of models and code, we've seen cases where production teams are bottlenecked, they're stuck in the process, and this can impact your ROI. So for the business perspective, if you can optimize your code so that it's faster, then you're getting that into production much, much quicker. If you optimize the models so that they're very accurate and efficient and don't consume the entire Linux box, that they know exactly what they're precisely doing and they calibrate it, that's also fantastic as well, because then that means more profitability. Hedge funds, for example, that we work with, having that super fast latency, having the code being able to execute and run very quickly, and at the same time their models that go with it being able to have already been computed and accurate to the ever-changing market, fitting that data, that is very important to them. If it takes several months to get that model into production, the market has already kind of moved against you. And remember, you've spent several months of compute cost as well to get to that stage. So if you can get to that much quicker, then that is where the business use cases are.
Okay, well, excellent. Well, you've talked about hedge funds and banks. This maybe you're going to mention them again, but I wanted to see what industries do you see benefiting the most from AI optimization?
Sure. So financial and technology. So financial because yes, you have banks, you have hedge funds, you have a lot of forward tech teams, you have front office development teams, everywhere where they're doing CI/CD or continuous integration. So you want good coding practices, and this allows for code to be optimized in that area. Also for technology too, because you're looking at some of the big semiconductor companies, you're looking at very big development houses. They have hundreds to thousands of developers. So again, optimization of the code that they're working on. And more importantly, what I wanted to mention and highlight to you is that, look, we got some feedback from one of our clients where they have developers and they have, a huge repo of code. And developers wanting and using our tool, one of the things is that they also learn and improve themselves. So you think about it, that product, our optimization offering gives you all these suggestions of where the code could be better optimized, and then you can tick them off and accept them as part of the integration. Now, a developer, senior developer looks and says, oh, okay, that's quite smart. I can see what they've done on that code. I've seen that. So that's actually, even if the developer is quite good and really, really good, the fact that under time constraints and the product is allowing, or the optimization, sorry, is allowing you to get these more efficient code, it's also allowing them to learn so they don't feel that, oh, AI is replacing them. AI is augmenting their capabilities in this case. They are still in the loop.
Okay, well, excellent. Well, you talked about hedge funds and banks. That this maybe you're going to mention them again, but I wanted to see what industries do you see benefiting the most from AI optimization?
Yeah, so in terms of optimizing the models, look, quants and data scientists go through a process where they build specific models, they go through a lot of validation, they go through a lot of testing. And improvement of those models is very much paramount, but they could take between 6 to 18 months. So you need a test bed and you need a full end-to-end solution to do that. A lot of these models are built from scratch. A lot of these models are built and assembled and not optimized because they lack the time or they lack the proper scientists to be able to do that. Because even, for example, myself as a quant and a data scientist, I know like one strong distinctive area of AI which I'm a specialist in. Doesn't mean I know every single method that is out there and I can actually implement every single one of them by root, by hand, you know? So you need a way, you need a test bedding system to be able to provide this optimization. And that's the key. So optimization of models is where we're at in terms of being able to get the efficiency that you want, the accuracy you want, the stability you want. And in some cases, the model that you're using may not be appropriate, best fit for what you're doing. And there could be a suggestion of a much more improved model, a distinctively different model.
Okay, excellent. You discussed a little bit about the models, and I was wondering how will this sort of AI optimization affect the accuracy and reliability of the models being used?
Yeah, sure. So look, some of the basic things, right? So you can use optimization for reducing potential network congestion, right? You can find the most efficient routes for data transmission and increasing the speed and throughput of that data. That's for the networks itself. But also, if you think about in terms of devices, right, smart devices, look, like the actual code, the operating code, if you're able to optimize the operating code, then that is fantastic because you can essentially reduce the energy consumption of those, you know, IoT devices, especially in smart devices, right? Because they're being used for a lot of things. And in addition, AI optimization can help to identify sensor data as well. So, for example, like adjusting and automatically efficiently optimizing temperature and other environmental variables. So, yeah, I mean, you can see already that um, machine learning is being used in IoT, and then improved machine learning or advanced optimization techniques helps to harness and improve the process data that you're already collecting.
Okay, talking about collecting the data, AI's optimization in managing and processing large data sets. What can you tell me about that?
Yeah, so in processing large data sets, one of the most important thing is that you're looking at structuring the data set, you're looking at cleaning the data set, you're looking at making sure it is in an improved form, and then being able to generate insights and models from that. If you have hyper optimized models that already come with the parameters, the hyperparameters optimized, that you already have the potential model in hand, then you can generate those insights already from that large data stream.
Okay, okay. Looking forward, what are some emerging trends in AI optimization that businesses should be aware of?
Yeah, so I think the emerging trends are as follows. You're looking at generically code like pure source code and optimization for that. You're looking at AI optimization as well for hardware. You're looking at AI optimization for models, and potentially you're looking at AI optimization for devices. So I got my phone. It's a Samsung. It runs some application. One of the application is, I won't mention the bank, but it's a business banking application. Leaving it on idle consumes 15% of my battery, right? That's not right, you know? But if you have a way that this is already being optimized on the phone, then that's fantastic. Similarly, battery tech as well, right? You know, like optimizing the battery itself. There are other companies out there like Qualcomm who came to visit us, have very strong interest in optimization of battery tech. So optimizing the battery in such a way that it lasts much longer and is less utilized.
Okay, so Turin Tech is using this code for AI optimization. What are the results or the benefits that you're seeing applying this?
Sure. So I can tell you very technically. So we optimize the code and we end up with very efficient code, which shows benefits as such as 20 to 30% in terms of reduction of memory, CPU, and therefore energy consumption. We've seen multiple times in X's of being faster. So actually, that's just one of the benefits is being able to choose as well, because we do multi-objective optimization, which means that if, for example, you want the code to be faster and you're less concerned with how much of the hardware and resources it will consume in this one shot effort, then we can maximize. So maybe we'll increase the usage of the memory and CPU utilization by a fixed percentage, but then you'll end up with maybe 2 to 3x much faster code. So we also have that where you can leverage those other variables. And the benefits, as you probably heard, is look, ESG friendly, very refined, optimized code. So it's very difficult for anybody to try to make exploits or hack it because it's in its simplest form, and therefore stable code.
Okay, great. I'm going to ask you another question, and that is, how do you envision AI optimization impacting the future of machine learning and AI development?
Yeah, sure. So I think it will impact because right now everybody's looking at AI. People are developing a lot of AI models or AI related code. And as I mentioned, there's a cost effect to it. You get a good result. But if you think about some of those large language models out there, they have costed hundreds of millions of dollars to get built, and then they're spending tens of millions of dollars to refine it. So AI optimization is going to impact those in the future by helping to maximize whilst maintaining or reducing those costs significantly. We also see that AI optimization is going to be more impactful in terms of machine learning methodology, because you're going to get a whole new class of machine learning techniques that is based on AI optimization of AI code.
So could you give a real world example of how AI optimization has significantly improved a business process or outcome?
Sure. So actually, we are working with two of the largest technology companies in the world, one of which has a code suggestion tool and platform. We're engaged with them to optimize this part of the process so that when they're making their code suggestions, we're addressing a pain point where we're reducing the actual cloud costs and making sure that the code suggestion is still maintaining its accuracy. The other company that is very well known in the chip sector as well, we're working with them to optimize highly tuned and highly manually optimized libraries already, taking them to the next level. Those libraries are custom built in their own various versions of custom compiled language, and still we're able to optimize and learn and get more benefit for them and for us out of it.
Okay, excellent. Well, I think that's a good place to end it. Dr. Kanthan, thanks for taking the time to speak to us today.
Fantastic. You're more than welcome. It's good to be on here. Really is.
Remember to subscribe to IoT Unplugged wherever you get your podcasts. And don't forget to share with anyone you think would find it as interesting or as informative as you have. IoT Unplugged. Tune in to the Internet of Things.